Hello, my name's Reevesy, you're watching Week of Geek, and today we're talking about the new MMORPG from Amazon Games, New World. This video is the second in a two-part series, talking about all of the things that I'm looking forward to in New World. I've already put together a video about my concerns, and I think it's really important to separate these videos because I don't want my concerns to hinder the things that I'm genuinely really looking forward to. But before we go any further, could you please like, subscribe, share, and comment? By doing all these things, you're going to help people find these videos and ultimately help us share our content with other people. And that's all we really want. We want to create this content, which we're really enjoying, and have people watch it. So please help out. So let's jump in. Let's talk about some of the things in New World, which I'm really looking forward to sinking my teeth into. All of the things in this video and the last is based on what videos we've seen and what's been released. There, of course, is an NDA on alpha players, which means they can't really share much about what's happening with the game. However, the studio have released lots of diary entries talking about some of the mechanics and some of the systems that we'll expect in the game, which is what this video is based around. This could all change as soon as beta comes out and as soon as we start to learn more about the game. So with that in mind, the first thing that I'm really looking forward to is the crafting system. The crafting system is not necessarily unique, but I do like the emphasis that they're putting on crafting. I quite enjoy crafting, and I like the fact that you can level up different aspects and eventually become a master in all of the different crafts. So as a very brief explanation, let's look at the weaponsmith as an example, because that's the example that Amazon are using a lot. You can become a master in creating iron weapons. And then eventually after you do that, you can jump up to steel. And eventually after steel, you can jump up to different metal types, eventually get into something that they've named as star metal or star ore or something like that. The thing that makes it really good is if you're a master in iron, you can use some unique materials to increase your chances of having buffs on this sword. Now that really great iron sword could be the top item level, could have great buffs and could have slots for jewels, making that sword much better than somebody who's just started crafting steel. What that means is, as a master crafter in iron, weapons and armor, you can create stuff for lower level players, which is better than some of the higher level players as they progress. That excites me for two reasons. One, it's kind of supporting the point that New World are making, that levels don't matter as much. It's more about skill and your equipment. So if you've got the right equipment and you've got the right skill behind the action combat system, you might be able to best somebody else. But number two, as a crafter, you've got a potential to make quite a bit of money by making this gear to help lower level players and selling it to them. It's quite exciting. It's a good way to boost the economy and a great way to get players who are interested in crafting involved, but also a way to support those lower level players as they progress. And that kind of brings me on to the second thing that I'm really excited about, and that's the classless weapon system. Again, as a brief overview, there is no classes in this game, and the way that you create your class is by picking up a weapon, using it, and as you use it, you start to level up that skill tree, and you can start to pick different abilities for that weapon. It seems a little bit like Guild Wars 2, when you can pick up a variety of weapons and start to kind of level them up, but very much more in depth. What they're saying is you can pick up every weapon if you'd like and become a specialist in all of them, but eventually have to pick the 2 or 3 weapons that you really want to become good at, because they will match your stats as you progress as a character. So all of your weapons are linked to your core essential stats, which are very similar to most RPGs. Nothing different there, but it's the fact that you can pick up all of these different weapons, and what I'm hoping it'll start to do is push people to create these unique classes outside of a meta, if you'd like. And I think that's the thing I'm excited about. People creating and using their creativity to make, I don't know, a really good stealth character based around these weapon sets and these skills, who uses a bow and daggers and is really good at stealthing around, whereas somebody else could make a bit of a tanky juggernaut character, all based on their weapons and their build. And I think that's a really good thing for a community to get involved with, but also for people like myself who like to get into the stats and the nitty-gritty of the weapons of the game. And that touches on the next point that I wanted to speak about, and the next thing I'm really excited about. It's limitless progression. As far as I can tell, there is absolutely a max level in this game, but that doesn't mean you've got to the max potential of leveling up all of your skills and progressing. From the looks of the videos and the explanations, you will have a lot to go after with crafting and a lot to progress. You'll have a lot to go after with building your weapon skills up and mastering all of the weapons. There's a lot of missions to do, and then there's loads to contribute towards your guild's town and conquering more land and expanding and becoming the best guild in that area. So it really does seem like a lot to go after, and it kind of reminds me back to my heyday when I used to play RuneScape. And I know that game and that word brings different connotations depending on who you are, but the one thing I loved about that game is that I could level different skills throughout the game, and I could become a master in crafting, in mining, and not ever really approach any combat. And of course I did become good in combat in the end, but the point was I could play the game exactly how I wanted, and there was always something to go after and always something to do. I think that's a really good attribute for an MMORPG, and one that I don't think a lot of MMOs have got perfectly right so far. And then the last thing, I absolutely need to speak about it, and it's something that I'm very excited about. It's the action combat. Like I've said previously when I was talking about the armor and the weapons, Amazon have stated this game and this combat system allows for people with skill and people who can really play their weapons and dodge properly and understand the mechanics to beat those who are better geared and potentially higher levels. I think that's a really exciting prospect and something that a lot of games have tried to do with balancing, but because of the nature of this action combat, I can really see it being something that you could do. If you were really skilled and proficient with your weapons, you could walk up to somebody, in theory, who's 10 levels higher than you, have a PvP battle with them, and I don't know whether that's a duel or there's a certain area where you can do that yet, but you could win that fight, and that's really good. That's a cool prospect, and I'm hoping they get that bit right. And I guess aside from that point, the combat just looks really good. They keep mentioning Dark Souls as their inspiration for combat, and if I'm honest, I'm all for that. That's brilliant. If they manage to nail that and get that perfectly right, that alone could be a great asset for this game and for its audience. Okay, so that's it. They're the main things that I'm looking forward to. Of course, like I've said, this could all change when we get into beta, and I'm going to be doing a lot of content on beta and streaming quite a lot as well. So definitely subscribe if you want to see some more things about this game, New World. You've been watching Week of Geek. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.